or that all Mexicans are walking around wearing a big sombrero or a cowboy hat with you know, a poncho. Good afternoon, amigos, from Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. The shop. Today we're going to talk about something we're very excited about. We're going to talk about some of the things we have learned about Mexico, about Vallarta, since we have moved here, I guess, 1 year ago. And hopefully we can bust some stereotypes for you.
Let's go. First stereotype about Mexico is that it's all deserts and donkeys.
In the morning, I'm making waffles.
Before we came to Mexico, I sort of thought it was like that, similar to how people sometimes still assume that people in Texas ride our horses to work.
Right.
I had the stereotype that there were lots of cactuses and like deserts, and people's main mode of transportation were donkeys. So that stereotype is false.
Number 2, and we are so guilty for this one in Texas, is we believe, or we celebrate Cinco de Mayo like it is the biggest Mexican holiday ever. I think it's just an excuse for us in Texas to drink margaritas.
Cinco de Drinko.
For a fiesta.
Yeah, for a fiesta, as if we needed one. But Cinco de Mayo is not Mexican Independence Day. That is actually coming up here this week. I believe it is the 16th with El Grito on the 15th.
We are super excited.
Yes, we're very excited. Viva Mexico! So it is false.
The next stereotype, and this isn't so much a stereotype, I'm not sure how broad this stereotype is, but I certainly had it, that Tex-Mex was the same as Mexican food.
Yeah.
Because we grew up having Tex-Mex, and I just assumed that that was what Mexican food was.
We knew Tex was in the name, obviously, so we're not that dumb, but I still think we had never had real Mexican food, so to us,
I just assumed it was the same.
Yeah.
So I think the biggest thing is queso. I just assumed that queso rains from the skies in Mexico. That is wrong. So you expats or people traveling to Mexico thinking there's going to be chili con queso, gotta look elsewhere. They have cheese fondito here.
Yes, it's not the same though.
And no, it's just very different. So
I think unfortunately there's not really, and people ask us this all the time, there's not very many things that we miss about Texas or back in the United States except for our family, but we can honestly say
family and queso.
Family and queso.
In case you're wondering.
Yeah. Oh, geez. We won't tell you which priority those are in because our family's watching.
So Tex-Mex and queso is false.
Number 4 is, before we came to Vallarta, I was almost under the impression that like every Mexican wants to live in the United States, and that's definitely the way they make it seem on pretty much every news station, whether it's more liberal or more conservative. I just don't think that's the case. I think there's definitely some areas that people are trying to move from, and not to undermine any reasons that people are moving to the United States, but I think we've met so many people here in Vallarta, Guadalajara, Mexico City. Fortunately, those right now are the only 3 places that we've been. But we've met people that seem to be living a great life here. They seem very happy. And Mexicans are very proud people. Not everybody wants to live in the United States. So that one is false. I think we have this perception that all Mexicans are very dark skinned and have mustaches, ladies excluded. But or that all Mexicans are walking around wearing a big sombrero or a cowboy hat with you know, a poncho on. Not everybody walks around looking like Emiliano Zapata, unfortunately. But we have found, especially here in Jalisco and Guadalajara, that Mexicans, just like any other nationality, you can't put your finger on and say that's what a Mexican looks like. They can be light skinned, they can be dark skinned, they can have blue eyes, they can have red hair. Canelo Alvarez, I think he has a big fight coming up. He doesn't look like a traditional quote-unquote Mexican. Mexicans don't just have mustaches and are super dark skinned.
They definitely don't wear ponchos here because it is way too hot.
Yes. So that one is false.
The next, I'm not sure if this is a stereotype, but it's something that we certainly hadn't expected. We've had friends and family come and we tell them we have to take you to our favorite Italian place. It's the best. And they think, well, they all say, well, that's so interesting.
That's
Italian food in Mexico? How good could that be? It's the same relationship in the United States.
It's only one thing removed. Like
it's just very interesting to us that people think, and we were guilty of this stereotype, that Mexico, that all we were going to eat here was Mexican food, and that we wouldn't find an excellent hamburger or Chinese food or Italian food.
Yeah.
And I think we've had some of the best Italian food here in town that we've ever had.
Yeah.
So
I think as a whole, the food here, we've said this over and over again, but the food here, no matter what nationality, what country it's from, is consistently better than the same type of food in the United States.
Yep, so we're gonna go ahead and say that one is
false.
Coming from the United States, we have barely even heard of Vallarta. We had heard of Cabo, Cozumel, Cancun. I knew there was another C one. Cozumel, Cancun, Cabo, barely Vallarta, but those are the ones that at least I knew of that were tourist friendly, if you will. And
or really the only tourist destinations in Mexico.
Right, and I think that is absolutely false. Now, while we have only traveled a very little teeny tiny sliver of the giant country of Mexico, I think we've quickly learned that there are tons of beautiful places inland that don't have to be on a beautiful coastline to be tourist friendly.
There's places here with pyramids, with colonial history, with pre-colonial history. As a history buff, like the amount of history and culture here is crazy. So I hope that maybe through our short videos that people can learn about other places in Mexico that are very tourist friendly and like bucket list type destinations as well.
Right.
So this one we're gonna say is false. People here in Mexico, when they speak Spanish, or maybe just even Spanish speakers as a whole, speak very fast. And that one, I would say, I can understand why we think that, even as someone that somewhat can understand Spanish or is like getting semi-conversationally fluent, it still sounds...
English is also conversationally difficult.
Yeah. It is still sounds very fast, but the more I think about it, it's, if you don't know English, it sounds really fast too. It's just a bunch of words going.
I can talk really fast.
Yeah, Hillary can talk really fast, and so I was thinking, if you say, I'm gonna go to the store in English, I'm gonna go to the store. If you understand English, that doesn't sound fast. If you say, voy a la tienda, if you don't know Spanish, then that just sounds like pa-da-da-da-da. And that sounds fast, but I think in fact, Spanish, and guys, correct me if I'm wrong, comment below. I think here, at least in Vallarta, people speak relatively slow Spanish. I think people speak much faster.
Thank goodness.
Yes. Much faster in the Dominican Republic. In other countries, it's more difficult to understand, but I think Mexico and Vallarta is a great place for us to learn Spanish, because for the most part it's pretty slow. Like no one's really in a rush to like say whatever they're gonna say. It's a beach town vibes, and I don't know if all of Mexico is like that, but it's definitely helped me learn Spanish. So we're gonna say that one is false.
The next stereotype that we could think of was mariachi band, fiestas, and tequila. And again, in the States, we had been to one Mexican restaurant in downtown San Antonio, and they have a mariachi band there, and they have...
It's like over the top.
It's like it felt very over the top, but I think this is one of the most surprising stereotypes to me, because when we got here, the beaches are covered with mariachi bands. Restaurants...
Banda bands.
Restaurants will come... people will come into restaurants to play music, people will play music on the streets, there are full mariachi bands, a lot of places. We joked last year when we first came that we always walked up on a party.
Yeah.
There was always some sort of fiesta going on, and there still is. Last night for dinner, we just planned to walk around a fiesta because we figured it's Friday night, there's got to be some party happening, and sure enough. Tequila, whereas in the States people may take a drink of choice at the beach or on vacation, here that's a bottle of tequila, no doubt. I feel like there's no denying that everyone's favorite drink. We often ask cab drivers what their favorite drink is for fun. It has never been anything other than tequila.
Maybe Corona.
Possibly Corona, but
or Victoria, or like Pacific.
Right, but tequila
it's tequila a lot. If people are partying, What I told Hillary is when people party at the beach in the US, you have a bottle of Jack Daniels, and when people party here, like we just saw a bunch of people down at the pool, like every other chair they had an entire bottle of tequila. And again, these things are probably Jalisco related, so let us know what you drink or what kind of music there is in like Veracruz or Tabasco or whatever state you may be watching this from or your family is from.
But this stereotype is the most fun to say that it is true.
And the last one, but the most important one, because we yesterday asked you about the most common stereotypes that you hear about Mexicans that you believe is not true. And the most common response that we have was actually very surprising to us, was that Mexicans are lazy. Now, to address this stereotype, I think in Texas and here, and we'll speak more here because this is since we've lived here for a year and we've been around more Mexicans, but almost everybody that we talk to works 6 or 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, and they're like busting their butts to provide for their family or provide for somebody. The people we meet, it makes it seem like I work really hard on these videos and these vlogs and the content and just talking to you guys, and sometimes it feels like I'm working a lot, but one, I'm doing something I love, and I'm very, very grateful and very fortunate to be able to do this with you. And two, I definitely don't do it 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. The more comments we get, we might start doing that, because I'm going to keep trying to reply to them all. But it just really puts things in perspective every time we have a conversation with somebody with, you know, what they do for a living and how much they work. Or, you know, one guy we met is a taxi driver, and then he also owns a upholstery company, and it's just, people are very...
work ethic. This one to me is the easiest for us to squash. I couldn't believe... I think because that thought had never crossed either of our minds, we can honestly say that. And so to me, this is the easiest myth to squash, because it has actually been the complete opposite for us. It has been the work ethic of people here in Vallarta has been nothing short of inspiring. I feel like I agree.
Yeah.
I work in a comfortable work setting for 12 hours a day and feel as if I've had the longest day ever. And there are taxi drivers that have worked 14 and then they're going to their second job. So that one is an easy false.
So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you enjoyed our myth busting or stereotype busting. Hopefully you learned a little bit from what we've learned, because that is not what every video is about, but you know, in one way or another, whether it's the food we're eating or the beach we're going to, hopefully you were learning something about us or something about Mexico. So thank you for sticking around for that.
Yep, be sure to subscribe to this channel, click the bell, that way you get notified
every time
we post a video, and we are in for some good adventures tomorrow. We'll see you then.
What are we doing?
I don't know, but we're gonna do something fun.
Bye-bye.
Adios.